Welcome to On The Bit. I'm Dave from Dream Thoroughbreds, and with me is Lenny from Bluegrass Bloodstock. How are you, Lenny?
Good, Dave.
You had a busy week at the sales up in Perth, mate?
We did.
And we got the punters off to a good start last week, mate, with Smoke and Joey getting the chocolates, and our Lays got beat at short odds. So we didn't get off to a bad start, mate. So we're warming up into the autumn. This week we got the Group 1 Lightning at back at headquarters, Flemington. Weight for age over 1,000 metres, mate. And a small but star-studded field for this year, mate. Who do you like in the Lightnings?
It is. There's a couple there that probably shouldn't be there, but there's a few really good horses. It's not a race I'd probably be wanting to bet in, Dave, to be honest. But I think the horse that the big Spruik horse that's been wrapped in cotton wool by Team Hawks for a while, Deep Field, he gets his chance here. He was very impressive at the Carnival when he won. That was a really good win. You have to do it tough. There's going to be really good speed here. I think the key is basically Hawks. This horse is a stallion prospect, so he's going to have to be wound up to be competitive here, and I think they've looked after him, so I think he's ready. He's short, but I would be taking the 240, 250 about him. I'll be multiing up in multis, whatever you're doing. If you did blow out on the day, well then you'd be having a bet, but I think he's the winning chance. Lankan Ruby obviously he's trialled well, but that invincibility tag that he had last prep sort of disappeared, so a few of these sprinters have sort of caught up to him. So Deep Field's on the bit for mine, Dave.
I like this race as a betting race, actually. I really can't go past Lankan Ruby. I just think at weight for age, I just think there's only really a two-horse race here. It's Deep Field and Lankan Ruby. Deep Field, I thought he won down the straight during the spring. I just felt he was a little bit wayward that day, and I'm not convinced he's actually a straight horse. So I just prefer him back around the bend. I don't think he can meet Lankan Ruby at the level weights and beat Lankan Ruby. I just think the 1,000 metres will suit Lankan Ruby right down to the ground. I think he's one of the best three sprinters in Australia, along with Chautauqua. And I just think that'll give him the advantage down the straight. He's won down the straight, he's been good down there. I think he's wound up for this. I think this is his race personally. The 3-year-old Brazen Bow, I also think will need 1,200 to show his best. So I don't think he can beat the other two. So I think in a race that Lankan Ruby can pretty much sort of lead and dominate, I think he's a good bet at $2.30. I want to multi him up with a lot on Saturday, so I'm pretty keen. Stable news, Lenny. You've had a big week, as I said, down at Perth at the sales, mate. So what's been happening?
Well, we've secured a Magnus filly out of a good mare that Tony Noonan trained. She's left a stakes winner, and what attracted me to this filly, Dave, is she's a very similar type to a filly that we've got at the moment that is going really, really well. We'll see her step out next week and hopefully win her first start. This filly is very similar type. The Magnus breed go good. They do a really good job.
Good consistent side.
Very good consistent side, but it's a very strong pedigree. It's a stakes winning pedigree, so she's got every chance to replicate that. Yeah,
so the filly Lenny's talking about is Magnet, who's debuting next Thursday at Ballarat. She'll debut, and we expect her to win or go very close to winning that next week. So this filly, along with Magnet, we've shared in that with Wes Hunter. So he'll be training it again for us. So it's another Dream Thoroughbreds Bluegrass and Wes Hunter combination. So we'll have information on her very shortly, but she'll be very reasonable value because we picked her up at a good price at the Perth yearling sales, and that's a Magic Million sale, so she's being entered for the Magic Millions race series.
Also got a Wanted Colt as well, which Wes Hunter will be training. So he was a really nice colt, and probably would have made a bit more money elsewhere. So yeah, no, I was happy with him also.
That's good. You've got Parcel running tomorrow too at Moonee Valley.
Parcel running tomorrow night. She's drawn a car park, so not ideal, but hopefully she's got enough speed. There does seem there's a fair bit of speed in the race, but hopefully she's quick enough. One thing I will say is that she will be stronger at the finish tomorrow. She'll be a lot fitter for that run. Obviously she missed the run going into the run at Sandown, being scratched at the barriers. It wasn't an ideal week leading up to that race. Wes has tinkered around with her a little bit, and she's had a much more settled couple of weeks, so she'll run really well.
1,000 metres in Moonee Valley, I reckon, is her go, so I'd be watching her very closely. We've had a big week too. Charles's Charge won last Sunday at Bendigo. He just got home in the end, but it was running a very fast time, and he was sitting on the pace all the way, so it was actually quite a big effort. Longneck ran an encouraging race yesterday at Sandown. He got back to last. We rode him differently this time. And I think he'll be right in the money next start. We'll place him, Lee Friedland and Anthony will place him to get a good run next start somewhere, and they'll place him right. Boogie Days ran an encouraging race today at Ballarat over an unsuitable distance. She'll really get a lot better with a couple of runs under her belt, and she should, as she goes up in distance, she'll be a very competitive filly for us. That's a 3-year-old filly. Chosen Moment goes around at Kilmore on Sunday, an 1100 metre benchmark 78. He's doing really well with the barriers this campaign, Chosen. He's drawn barrier 1, and he's got Damien Lane aboard. I think it's a really nice race for him on Sunday. And Captivate has been nominated for Gawler. It's actually been changed to Strathalbyn next Wednesday. I've seen the noms, pretty weak for mine, so I think he'd be very hard to beat. So we'll update you with how he goes next week. But yeah, there's a lot going around at the moment, and still a few more coming through and in pre-training with a few of the trainers around. So really starting to build up for Dream Thoroughbreds now, and a lot of those were purchases from yourself, Bluegrass Bloodstock. So it's really starting to come to the fore. Best on breeding, Lenny. How's your best on breeding for this week, mate? Who do you like?
Sydney Horse, Headwater, race 5, number 5.
Yep.
He was purchased for $500,000 at last year's Easter sale. He's actually, the other half brother was purchased for $4 million, but I haven't heard what he's done on that track. No. This guy's by the champion side of 2-year-olds in Exceed and Excel. He's out of a Group 1 winning mare in River Dove, who won an Oakley Plate.
Yeah.
She's already left a stakes winning 2-year-old Farewell, who's by Exceed and Excel, so making it a full. And the cross was evident again in this pedigree with the gun sprinter Kilgrunde in the second down being also by Exceed and Excel, so it's worked. So, well, we've already seen Headwater go to the races once at Moonee Valley and be pretty dominant. So,
okay, very nice. Value bets. I've got two, but I think you're going to actually mention one of them as one of your best. Disposition race 6, number 1. So I'll let Lenny talk about that a bit later. The other value bet I've got is Flemington race 8, number 7, Mandler. He's down the straight. He's first up for 6 months, but he's got a great first up record, and he's won down the straight, the 1200 metres before. The only negative is he's drawn barrier 1, and down the straight that can sometimes not be the place to be, but you know, he'll get out in the open. He's probably going to start about 10 to 1. I just think he's trialled very well leading into this. I think he's great value at the 10 to 1. So that's a Flemington race 8, number 7. On the bit, Lenny, who's your on the bit special this week, mate?
Well, going for Wes's horse Disposition. Having been in Perth the last week of 3 or 4 days or so, had a lot of people telling me how good this horse is.
Yeah.
I have watched all his replays previously and watched his races. He's a very smart galloper, obviously running ahead second in the Kingston Town Stakes at Weight for Age, being beaten by Moriarty. And the mare Leap Bell that won the Railway, she ran third, beat a further 2 lengths behind.
Yeah.
I know, obviously, from Wes, this horse has been trialling enormous and
I've seen it.
He's been trialling enormous, yeah, going really well. He's drawn really well in 4. I'd expect him to get a really nice run from that gate with a couple coming outside him. This is a pretty even sort of field. There's nothing outstanding there. So I would have thought it's the right year for a horse like Disposition to come down, and at the $6, I think he's a fantastic value.
Yeah, he's drawn barrier 4, should get a forward run. The way he's trialled, I think he'll just win as well, and it's great value, I believe. And he's in the Australian Guineas in a couple of weeks, so you can get good value if you want to take the early odds on that. I'm on the bit with race 5, number 11, Refulgent. He's a stablemate of Chosen Moment from the Weir stable. This horse was entered in the same race as Chosen Moment last week at Moonee Valley over 1200. It was abandoned last week's event, so he didn't run around. I think the race would have been too short for him last week, and I don't think Moonee Valley would have suited him with the rail out 7 metres. But tomorrow at Flemington, big track, he's over 1400 metres. I think he's really ready to sort of launch this horse. I think he looks a standout to me. He's currently 480, it's great value. He's a value bet, he's an on the bit special. I think he'll actually probably start favourite on the day, so I'm happy to take the price now and load up. Absolutely can't miss a place this horse, so yeah, it's a bet to nothing at the 480 on the bit for mine. Off the bit, Lenny, who are you off the bit with this week, mate?
Off the bit with Shamarui. Is that how you pronounce it? Shamarui. Yeah. It's favourite in Sydney, race 2, number 5. I just don't see how he can be favourite in that field. He won on a heavy track, a restricted race. He's in a much better race today. He was also placed on a soft. Rose Hill's going to be a firm track on Saturday. I think it's just the O'Shea Jane McDonald factor that this horse is currently at $4, so off the bit for mine. I'm off the bit with Flemington race 4, number 3, Tortine. I love this filly around Moonee Valley. She's quite adapts to Moonee Valley quite well, and I feel that's her best track. I just doubt her when she goes, well, especially when she's down the straight at Flemington. She has run well there before, but I just think it might bring about her undoing. I think there's a couple of really nice fillies in this race, and I think they've probably got more upside than her. She's pretty much a leader and just go from there, and she doesn't have much other way of racing, so I think I'll pass on her this week. She's off the bit for mine. So yeah, as we said, hopefully we'll have a good weekend. Big weekend of racing at Rose Hill and at Flemington. Some really great racing at Rose Hill as well. If you want to have a look at that, and Moonee Valley Friday night. So it's a big weekend of racing. So we'll see you next week. Good luck. Cheers, guys.